Welcome back to CrimePod Castle's Twisted Love series. Today, we're taking a look at a story from a village in Gujarat, India.
Right.
And this one is,
Yeah.
it's a tough one.
It really is, yeah.
It's 2018.
Yeah, it's 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And
A case that really,
it's an honor killing case.
yeah, forces us to kind of examine
That gripped the nation.
the weight of tradition.
So let's unpack it.
Absolutely.
We've got source material that mentions Neha Patel and Kunal Sharma.
Okay.
Can you tell us a little bit about them?
Sure. Neha was a young woman, just 22 years old.
Okay.
And by all accounts, just full of life, spirited, ambitious.
Okay.
She came from an influential family,
Right.
a prominent upper caste family in their village.
Okay.
And her family had big dreams for her, a traditional arranged marriage within their community. Kunal, on the other hand, was 24,
Okay.
a kind, hardworking young man.
With dreams of becoming a teacher.
Okay.
And he came from a Dalit family.
Right.
Also in the same village.
You mentioned Dalit.
Yeah.
Can you explain that a little bit more?
Sure.
I think it's important for us to understand kind of the nuances of this case.
The Dalit community in India faces really deep-rooted social discrimination.
Right.
A prejudice that has spanned centuries.
Right.
They were historically considered untouchables, placed at the very bottom of the social hierarchy. And even today, the idea of marrying outside one's caste is a huge taboo in many communities.
That's heartbreaking to think that those prejudices still exist.
It is, yeah.
So Neha, from an upper caste family, and Kunal, a Dalit, fell in love.
Right.
Knowing
the social context.
Right. Yeah. Their relationship must have been so challenging from the start.
Their love story began at a community event. And despite the societal barriers, their connection grew. But in a conservative village like theirs, their love was seen as a transgression. A defiance of the rigid social order that they were expected to follow.
That makes their love story even more poignant.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
It really is.
They were defying the odds.
Right.
The expectations of their families and their community.
Yeah.
Just to be together.
Exactly.
What happened when their families discovered their relationship?
Well, Neha's family, particularly her father Pradeep and her brother Ramesh, were furious.
Right.
They saw her relationship with Kunal as a stain on their family honor, a threat to their social standing.
It's hard to comprehend how somebody could prioritize honor over their own daughter's happiness.
Right.
Did Neha and Kunal try to fight for their love?
They did. Knowing their families wouldn't accept their relationship, they started meeting in secret. They yearned for a life together, away from the judgment and restrictions. So they began planning to elope.
So it's almost Shakespearean.
It is.
Like this forbidden love trying to bloom in the face of societal disapproval.
They were so young.
They were so young.
Full of hope, dreaming of a future together.
Well, hey, our sources mentioned that they disappeared.
Yeah.
What happened next?
On October 17th, 2018, Neha and Kunal vanished. They had planned to meet at a secluded spot near the outskirts of their village, a final step before their planned escape.
So they were going to run away, build a life together, and
they just disappeared.
They just disappeared. This is incredibly disturbing.
It is. The next morning, their bodies were discovered in a field near where they were supposed to meet.
This is just awful. Can you tell us what happened?
It was a brutal scene. Neha had been strangled, and Kunal had been beaten to death. The sheer brutality of their murders just shocked the entire village. It was clear this was no random act of violence.
Right.
Suspicion quickly fell on Neha's family.
Given the circumstances,
yeah,
it's not surprising that suspicion immediately turned towards Neha's family.
Yeah.
What did the police investigation uncover?
So the Gujarat police launched a full-scale investigation. And it didn't take them long to zero in on Neha's father and brother as their prime suspects.
What led them to focus on Neha's father and brother specifically? Was it just their disapproval of the relationship, or was there more concrete evidence?
There was more, unfortunately. Pradeep and Ramesh had been very vocal about their opposition to Neha's relationship with Kunal. But beyond that, villagers reported seeing them near the area where the bodies were found on the night of the disappearance.
So eyewitnesses placing them at the scene. That's already very incriminating. Did the investigation uncover any physical evidence linking them to the crime?
It did. Forensic analysis of the crime scene revealed footprints matching Ramesh's shoes.
Oh, wow.
And there were bloodstains found in the trunk of the Patel family car.
Oh, my gosh.
Later, DNA testing confirmed the blood matched Kunal's.
So not only were they seen in the vicinity, but there's also physical evidence directly linking them to the scene.
It's hard to imagine a defense.
It's hard to imagine a defense against that kind of evidence. Did Pradeep and Ramesh offer any explanation?
They did. Under interrogation, both confessed to the murders. Their motive, they claimed, was to protect their family honor.
It's chilling how they twisted the concept of honor to justify such a heinous act. Did their defense hold up in court?
So the trial for what became known as the Gujarat Honor Killing Case began in early 2019. And it was a highly publicized case that drew attention from media outlets across India and human rights organizations worldwide. The prosecution's case was built on the foundation of the evidence we've discussed, the forensic reports, witness testimonies, and of course the confessions. Their argument was straightforward. These murders were premeditated acts of violence driven by a toxic sense of honor and caste-based prejudice.
So the prosecution presented a very strong case. Highlighting the premeditated nature of the crime. And this really deeply disturbing motive. What was the defense strategy? Did they try to refute the evidence? Or did they offer an alternative explanation for what happened?
The defense team acknowledged the horrific nature of the crime, but attempted to portray the murders as impulsive acts, committed in a moment of emotional turmoil. They argued that Pradeep and Ramesh were driven to their actions by immense societal pressure and the weight of tradition, essentially pleading for leniency on the grounds that it was a crime of passion, not a cold, calculated plan.
It's a difficult argument to swallow considering the level of violence and the clear evidence of premeditation. It sounds like they were really trying to appeal to the court's empathy? Highlighting the societal pressures that might have influenced their actions? What was the verdict?
In late 2019, the court delivered its verdict. Both Pradeep and Ramesh Patel were found guilty of murder and sentenced to life imprisonment. The judge, in his closing statement, condemned their actions as barbaric and emphasized the urgent need to eradicate honor killings from modern Indian society. It was a landmark ruling that sent shockwaves throughout the country.
This verdict seems like a really powerful statement from the justice system. A clear message that honor killings will not be tolerated, no matter the societal pressures or cultural contexts. Did the case have a wider impact on the public perception of honor killings in India?
Absolutely.
The
Gujarat Honor Killing Case, due in large part to the intense media scrutiny and public outcry surrounding it, became a catalyst for a much-needed national conversation. Many people who might have previously remained silent came forward to condemn honor killings, calling for stricter laws and widespread awareness campaigns to address this deeply rooted problem.
It's often said that tragedy can be a catalyst for change. And this seems to be a very powerful example of that. A single case, as horrific as it was, sparked a national movement, forcing people to confront this very dark side of their society. Are honor killings still a prevalent issue in India today?
Sadly, yes. While the Gujarat Honor Killing Case brought much-needed attention and spurred some positive changes, honor killings unfortunately remain a grim reality, particularly in rural areas. Where traditional beliefs and societal pressures hold a tighter grip on communities.
That's disheartening to hear. It seems like there's still a long way to go. But what steps have been taken in the wake of the Gujarat case to address the issue of honor killings?
There have been some positive developments. Law enforcement agencies are now more proactive in investigating suspected honor killings. recognizing the need to intervene early and protect potential victims. Additionally, there's been a push for stricter legislation, with some states introducing harsher punishments for those involved in such crimes.
So there's been some progress on the legal front, but laws alone can't change deeply ingrained societal beliefs. What about efforts to raise awareness and challenge the mindset that fuels these crimes?
That's where education and community outreach come in. Several NGOs and activists are doing incredible work in rural communities, educating people about the horrors of honor killings. They're promoting gender equality, encouraging dialogue, and emphasizing the importance of individual freedom of choice. Especially when it comes to love and marriage.
It sounds like a multifaceted approach is really key. Legal reforms are important. But they need to be accompanied by a shift in societal attitudes. These grassroots efforts to educate and empower communities seem so crucial to achieving lasting change. Turning back to the case, can you tell us a little bit about the impact this tragedy had on the families involved?
The impact was devastating, as you can imagine. Both families were irrevocably shattered by this tragedy. Kunal's family grieved the loss of their son, a bright young man whose life was cut short. In such a brutal manner, they continue to fight for justice. And for the recognition of the systemic prejudice that led to his death. Neha's family, on the other hand, faced the harsh consequences of their actions, with both the father and brother serving life sentences for the murders. It's a stark reminder of the destructive power of prejudice and the ripple effects of these crimes, which extend far beyond the immediate victims.
It's a heartbreaking reminder that the consequences of prejudice and hate just extend so far beyond that initial act of violence.
It's a story that...
it's a story that compels us to confront some uncomfortable truths about ourselves and the societies we live in. What stands out to you most about this case?
For me, it's the stark contrast between the love and hope that Neha and Kunal represented and the hatred and violence that ultimately consumed them. They were two young people who dared to dream of a future together, a future free from the constraints of tradition and societal expectations, only to have their dreams so brutally shattered.
It's a very jarring juxtaposition, isn't it?
It is.
Their desire to break free, to build a life based on love and mutual respect, met with such a brutal end.
And at the hands of those who should have protected them.
At the hands of those who should have protected them. This case really underscores the need for open dialogue, for empathy, and for the courage to challenge harmful traditions.
Absolutely. We need to be willing to have those difficult conversations, to confront the uncomfortable truths about prejudice and discrimination that exists in our communities. We need to work together to create a society where love is celebrated, not punished, and where individual choices are respected.
The Gujarat Honor Killing Case is such a tragic reminder that love can be a dangerous act of defiance in some parts of the world. But it also serves as a testament to the power of love and the enduring human spirit in the face of adversity.
Their story, though filled with sorrow, offers a glimmer of hope, a hope for a future where love triumphs over hate, and where every individual has the freedom to choose their own path in life.
And that's a message worth amplifying. We must never forget the sacrifices made by those who dare to love freely and challenge the status quo. Their stories are a call to action, a reminder that we all have a role to play in building a more just and equitable world.
Absolutely.
We hope this deep dive into the Gujarat Honor Killing Case has been insightful and thought-provoking.
If this story has resonated with you, we encourage you to continue the conversation, share your thoughts, engage in respectful dialogue, and be an advocate for positive change.
Don't forget to follow us on social media for updates and to join the conversation. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more thought-provoking deep dives like this one.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and remember that love knows no bounds.